proponent in public housing and in most disadvantaged communities, and that is inspiration, despite poverty, despite the lack of educational examples all around you. Somehow or another, Rosemary Scott, the little girl, decided that she could be an artist, could be a chemist, of all things, a chemist, and that you could go to college. And you did become the first member of your family to graduate from college, or even attend college.
You're right.
How many other sisters and brothers attended college?
Well, I have one of my oldest sisters. She's in college now, and I have two other sisters that have who has attended college. One to graduate, and she's in X-ray. She's an X-ray technologist.
If you could point to most of the people who influenced you positively as a child, who would that person be?
Well, one person my mom, of course, I have to give her credit because she did a lot of guidance and trying to steer me in the right direction. She worked very, very hard. And instead of beating me, she would sit down and counsel me and talk to me. And I would say, would you beat me and get it over with so I can go on about my business? And she wouldn't do that. And my aunt, my father's sister, who's deceased now, she would come and pick me up. She had no children, so I feel very, very close to her because I have no children now. I've been married 18 years, and that's by choice because I figured I had something else to do with my life. And my aunt would come and she would take me to wonderful places, and she would take me to restaurants and things and tell me that you can have anything on this menu other than a hamburger or a hot dog. So she basically taught me table etiquette and things like that, and she lived on the south side, right off 51st and Champlain. And I would go horseback riding in Washington Park. It was wonderful. It was just great. I mean, I always, if I had my choice, I think I would have set myself up in a family with being the only child, because that's how I felt. I really, being around 8 siblings is difficult. And then you have the nieces and the nephews and things like that. So I felt like I never had my own share of anything. So I, sometimes
you
with myself.
Yeah. Apparently you were a natural born take charge person.
Yeah.
Because you were practically running things.
Right. I was like assistant mom to the family. After my 3 older siblings left home, and it was basically 6 of us, can't count, 7 of us left there. If my mom went into the hospital, I would take over and cook and do everything. So I just had to have this just right and this just right and decorate. I know once I decorated the house and I painted the washroom, and I painted one side of the washroom black. And we're talking about it in Robert Hill, your washroom is like you walk in and you back up and you sit down and there's a tub on the side here. It's not too much space. And I painted the bathroom black and one wall black and the other wall white. And I had like black and white shower curtains. And this is when I was about 15 years old. And my sisters and brothers would say, "Oh, Mom, we can't stay in here. This bathroom looks like it's just closing in on you." But the only thing I just wanted to look. I mean, I just wanted, if I saw something in a magazine, I wanted to copy it. And House and Gardens or House Beautiful, any of those magazines.
You worked in a hospital after you went to DePaul?
No, I worked in a hospital from the time I was 16. I got my first job at Mike Reese Hospital, and shortly thereafter, I got all of my whole family a job there, and my mother. And my mother worked there for 15 years before she retired, and that was her first job.
The whole Scott family.
The whole family was there, right. So I said, let my foot in the door, and I'll bring in everybody with me.
When did you decide that you were going to be a fashion designer for real? And what prompted that?
What prompted that? Well, I knew I always had a love for that, and I used to look at magazines and I used to wish. And I think that's what black kids do. They wish for things that's so far out that they probably don't even see how they can ever approach that by looking and saying, well, how can I go to Paris to go to school? Or how can I go to Europe and go to fashion design school? And that's what I try to teach them right now. You can go to a junior college and you can be a fashion designer if you like things like that, or some of the trade schools. But at that time, when I was amongst all that happening in Robert Taylor, basically I wasn't really focused that much on too much of the future. I mean, I think you're so overwhelmed with just what's happening around you that only thing I knew is that I was going to marry into wealth. We all figured that, right?
You did.
I did. I figured I was going to marry into wealth, and if I just remain a certain class of a person, then I would attract that class of a person that I wanted to marry. So my husband and I, we met when we were 16 years old, working at Mike Reed's Hospital, but we had no intentions of getting together ourselves because we're just friends, and I would fix him up with all my girlfriends and everything, and plus he wasn't going to be a doctor, and I had to marry a doctor because that was my plan to get out of poverty, marry a doctor, and then have all these things that make room for Daddy had, and the beavers and everything. Just what else do we have to look at?